My name is Jaden Wilson, and you're watching Massillon Tiger football only on WHS-TV.
The eye of the tiger.
Coming to you live from Byers Field in Parma. Welcome to the state semifinals. Two teams looking for their first championship in school history. And boy, do we have a good matchup tonight. The Massillon Tigers, they are still looking for that first elusive title in the playoff format, despite the fact they have won 28 state championships prior to the playoffs being invented in OHSA football. And their opponent tonight, the third consecutive year, the Avon Eagles have come back to the state semifinals. Perhaps this is the magic year for them to punch their ticket to Canton. Winner of this game tonight will play against either Cincinnati LaSalle or they'll play Toledo Central Catholic next weekend, perhaps on Thursday night, but either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday at the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. Good evening and welcome inside our coverage. I'm Brendan Gulick alongside former John Carroll quarterback Anthony Meglin. Anthony, a fun matchup tonight because you got two teams that are so hungry. I think this is a Massillon team that has some serious skill position talent, but Avon likes what they have up front and think that perhaps they can control the line of scrimmage. That should make for a pretty good night.
Unbelievable matchup coming for us, and also this atmosphere is incredible. Being in high school football, playing in Northeastern Ohio high school football, I've never seen a stadium and felt an energy like this, and it's going to be an incredible matchup. And you mentioned that the Massillon skill position, the toys that they have on their side of the ball is unbelievable. It's going to be really fun to watch. And talking with Coach Elder from Avon, he believes that they have the advantage up front on both sides of the ball. So it's going to be a contrast in styles, I think. And it's going to be a really, really fun matchup tonight.
Just a couple of minutes away from kickoff tonight, which will be returned by the Avon Eagles. Massillon won the toss. They chose to defer to the second half. Perhaps the best home fan base in the state of Ohio, the Massillon Tigers, and they certainly have showed up here tonight in Parma. We're going to take a quick time out here just briefly for the national anthem. We don't want to disrespect the country and talk during the anthem. We'll be right back here in just a moment. Or Robbie Page. The flag flies as the play clock expires. Delay of game coming.
You see this often, especially in late November, early December football. A lot of butterflies coming from Avon. There's a lot of you drop the opening kickoff. Now you get a bad penalty here. You're letting the clock run out. Sometimes tough. Got to let these kids settle in and before this thing gets going.
Referee tonight, Kevin Selecki, will introduce his colleagues to you here shortly. Avon punting from their own end zone, and Bengu hits a beautiful spiraling kick. This is Hodges, and Massillon in good field position to get things started. They'll take over just outside the 40-yard line. We apologize, by the way, if there had been a blip in our coverage. Hopefully that's worked itself out at this point, but you haven't missed much. This is the second drive of the game, first time Massillon's gotten the football. Alongside former John Carroll quarterback Anthony Meglin, I'm Brendan Gulick. Here come the Tigers for the first time tonight.
Yeah, this Tigers offense is just absolutely loaded, led by quarterback Aiden Longwell, the senior. This team has just got a lot of explosive plays waiting to happen, and they're going to start it on the ground. Good start already for the Tigers. Moving things ahead.
On the first carry of the night for Zion Pfeiffer. Boy, there are so many weapons on this Massillon side. Split out wide to the left is an Ohio State University commit in Jaden Ballard. Can't lose track of Andrew Wilson-Lamp. He's a fantastic split end himself. But it's Pfeiffer who gets the first 2 carries of the contest, and on second and short, that'll bring up a first down.
And even you're talking about Pfeiffer here too. You know, this isn't their number 1 running back. You got Terrence Keys, who hasn't seen a snap yet, but Pfeiffer comes in just over 350 yards on the ground on the season, and you know, in the the state semi game, he gets the first 2 touches. This team is just loaded everywhere.
Terrence Keys had 75 rushing yards last week, but only 12 in the second, or I should say 87 last week, only 12 in the second half. A little screen pass wide out to the right-hand side. I like the way the Eagles are flying to the football here early as they throw one out toward Wilson-Lamp, who caught a 50-plus yard touchdown pass to open the scoring last week. He's a Power 5 caliber kid, and I think you can certainly expect a big night between Wilson-Lamp and Ballard in particular. Pfeiffer's still the tailback here. He'll go right over the middle. He slipped out of 1 tackle, but couldn't get past that. Jake Wilson leading the charge, the talented senior inside linebacker. We're at 8 minutes, 15 seconds and counting here in the opening quarter. Massillon's been moving the ball okay, but things get slowed up here for a moment with a Massillon Tiger injury. I believe that is John Kauth, 6'1", 320, the junior offensive lineman, who was a little slow to get up.
And that was a really nice showing right there by that Avon defensive line. And Coach Elder did talk about it. You know, that is a spot on his team where he sees could be have an actual advantage against this Massillon offensive line. It might be tough, but those guys led by Michael Lobb, Chris Pepe, and Dominic Vacos, they do a 3-down lineman, and those guys are some big boys. They're athletic, and they're really tough in the interior, and you saw it there. Now they got a 3rd and short. Be really nice to have a nice stop here early in this first quarter.
Oh, by the way, we've talked about Keys and Pfeiffer and certainly hit on Ballard and Wilson-Lamp. We haven't mentioned that quarterback Aiden Longwell has had a fabulous season. 28 touchdowns. He's thrown 7 interceptions, perhaps a bit odd. He threw 2 of them fairly early in last week's game. Longwell, a pretty highly recruited high school quarterback, but he decided that his rocket arm was better used as a baseball player, so he's going to play for the Kent State Golden Flashes as a Division I college ball player on the baseball field. Either way, one of the things Nate Moore told us leading up to this week's game was that he absolutely loves the leadership component for Aiden Longwell. He said, close your eyes and picture the best kid you've ever met. That's Aiden Longwell. That's pretty high praise.
That's really high praise. And talking physically, you know, when you see him throw the ball when they do drop back, you're going to understand why he's going to be a MAC pitcher for a really good Kent State program. That guy can really rip it. But I'm very, very impressed with his accuracy. Just watching a couple game tapes, you know, just noticing that he rarely misses. And finally, on that leadership side of things, my man's been playing a 3-year starter at Massillon. That's unheard of. And just to speak on that is unbelievable. And he's really stepped up to the challenge this year, leading this team all the way to where they're at.
3rd down and 1. Pfeiffer still in a tailback. No sign yet of Terrence Keys, who remember is new this year to the folks over at Massillon after he competed at Akron St. Vincent St. Mary beforehand. Pfeiffer has the 1st down and more down inside the 15. Stopped on the play finally by Jake Wilson, but not before he got well enough for that 1st down.
I was very impressed by what Pfeiffer's done on this opening drive, and you know, we've been talking about all these skill guys that Massillon has and Massillon employs, but they really rely on running the football. You know, they're going to run the ball. They average just over 40 attempts a game. They average right around 185 yards on the ground and only about 16 passes. So they're going to look to win this game on the ground.
Pfeiffer slips a tackle, slips a second, and he gets in. Zion Pfeiffer from 13 yards away, and the Massillon Tigers strike with an early touchdown.
just a simple zone play to the left, and Pfeiffer showed a lot of patience there. Wish we had replay to show you, but he pressed the line of scrimmage to the left and found a crease on the backside, stuck his left foot in the ground, and got vertical, and then just at that point, when the seam's that big, you just got to make one man miss, and it was him versus the safety, and he chose to bowl through him across that goal line, and the Massillon Tigers are up early.
7:28 left in the opening quarter. The extra point is up and good. It's a good start for Massillon. First possession, they go down the field and essentially run the football the entire first drive. What a statement.
I mean, just an unbelievable statement, and really what we understood this game to be. It was going to be a battle of wills. Avon's going to run the ball, and they're going to try to win this game on the ground. We knew Massillon was going to try to win this game on the ground, and we're going to see which side of the ball, which line of scrimmage dominates it. And so far, on both sides, offense and defense, Massillon's holding an early advantage.
Again, certainly hope that John Kauth is going to be okay. The Massillon offensive lineman got injured, and he is still being attended to on the near sideline by the Massillon athletic training staff.
But here's why this could be an issue for Avon, is because now you're down to your third-string quarterback, a sophomore who has 7 pass attempts in his Avon Eagle career. So if you get down 1 score, 2 scores, it's going to be really tough to continue to run the football. So we'll see how the Eagles respond on this drive.
Last time they fumbled the kickoff, able to haul it in. Joey Lance again from the 5. Here he comes near side, bobbing and weaving his way just across the 20. Much better field position this time around for the Avon Eagles, and perhaps hopefully some butterflies out of the system now for Avon.
Absolutely. Hey, guys, just remember you're playing a football game. Just relax. You're 13-0, and I know Coach is telling them that over there. Hey, you guys know how to play this game. It doesn't matter who you're playing against or what the circumstance is. Just go play and have fun. But really, I think a big portion of this game is going to come on these next couple plays. Avon really needs a first down here. If they can get a first down, that'll just really calm them all down. But it's going to start with getting your first 10 yards here.
Well, they have often at times this year shown different looks. They're not afraid to run out of the Wildcat. They're not afraid to line different guys up in different places. And Joey Lance right now is in at quarterback. He runs a Wildcat stretch to the left-hand side, and he got swallowed up by the big man, Manny McElroy, all 5'11", 330 of him. But it's a good gain for Lance on first down. And I know everybody likes to look at third downs, Anthony, but I have to think that for Avon, first down is the most important down today because you got to get in front of the chains.
You have to stay ahead of schedule, and what Lance did on that last play, getting 6 yards, was perfect because now you got second and manageable here. You're going to be able to really dive into this. It looks like they may stick Wildcat here for this for a majority of this drive, but this opens you up. And I know Lance is a good enough athlete here that throwing the ball is definitely not out of the question.
Mike Matlack, Noah Mangan, Tommy Purcell all split out at receiver, but this was designed for Lance, and he's able to move up a little bit closer, setting up 3rd down and 2 here. We referenced that Massillon won perhaps their biggest game in program history last weekend. The Avon Eagles, for the 2nd time this year, knocked off their rivals, the Shoremen from Avon Lake. They beat them by 1 point in week 1 and able to beat them 20-3 last week. Here comes Lance. He only needs a couple. Tucks it and runs, and I think on the second effort he got it.
Looks like they're going to give it to him, and that kind of references last week. It was late in the game against Avon Lake. They were running this Wildcat formation, and it was the 3-3 game, and Joey Lance made an incredible play where he broke a couple tackles, moved the chains, and then broke one big. But like I said, just get that first down, and things can go from there.
First down for Avon Lake.
I get it.
3 receivers split out wide to the left. Play clock down to 2. Lance hands the football off. This is the running back, Devin Hunter, who's had a really nice season. This is an Avon Eagles team as Hunter picks up almost 5 yards. An Avon team that has... To say they've been tested with their depth is probably not even a fair statement. I mean, they've had 11 different starters at some point this year get hurt, Anthony, and we referenced they're on their 3rd-string quarterback, but nobody has found themselves with some breathing room at any position. Running back certainly not excluded.
Offensive line as well. And talking with Coach Alder, I know that they preach it. It's the part of their culture to have everybody prepared. All week long, they prepare 8 linemen. They prepare 2 running backs. They prepare 2 quarterbacks just in case, because they've been able to see it all, and injuries have been very commonplace for them.
Joey Lance again down the left sideline, all the way down to the Tiger 35. Well, the Eagles might have found something here.
Love what you're seeing out of Lance. And watch this tempo here. Now you got the Tigers on their heels. Now you're going to get up to the line and try to snap it as quick as possible and try to continue to gash this Massillon defense.
Lance hands it off. Hunter right through the middle. Give him 4 to set up 2nd down and 6. Tackled on the play by Massillon linebacker Noah Richards. After an empty first drive, 3 and out for the Eagles. And then they go backpedaling as Massillon went a short 41 yards for a touchdown on just a handful of plays. In this 7-0 contest, 4:09 left first quarter. Much better, calmer drive here for Avon. Lance, a little RPO game. It's Devin Hunter. Down to the 27, 3rd down and 2 coming. Stopped on the play by the really impressive senior linebacker Ben Kriegbaum.
I mean, Kriegbaum's just been having a great year. Comes in with 50.5 tackles. That's his 51st and a half tackle, but he's just everywhere. He's a great athlete playing that linebacking position. And really, that plays really well into what Avon may try and do here and go strictly to the run game with this Wildcat formation. This second level of this Massillon defense is very, very athletic, and even getting into the back end, into the secondary, there's a lot of athletic guys who can really run with a lot of people.
They need the 25. Little misdirection. Hunter, not quite enough. I like the concept there. Caden Woolard, who had a fabulous game last week in the regional championship, the first one to come up with the stop. And not a huge surprise here to see Avon going for it on 4th down and short.
Love it. This is awesome. If they get this first down, this is going to be big. This is really a really big play here early in this game.
Lance, he's got it and more. Kriegbaum on the stop, but it didn't matter. Joey Lance would not be denied. 1st down, Eagles. So an early 4th down conversion for Avon, and the other thing that might elude what some fans are considering when looking at this game, that clock keeps moving. And in my opinion, I wonder if you share it this way, but in my opinion, the longer Avon's offense can stay on the field and keep that clock going, I would think that the better their chances, because they're keeping the ball out of that really explosive Massillon offense's hands.
There's absolutely no doubt about it, and I'll get into more after this play.
Look at Lance.
Lance is running hard, but this is what I tried to reference here early, or in the call. I'm talking about some keys to the game. If Avon can stay on the field and keep that Massillon offense off the field, that does a couple things. It gets you out of rhythm, standing over there on the sidelines, getting cold, but it also puts a lot of pressure on you when you come onto the offensive side of the ball, because you feel though you have to score. When Massillon comes onto the field, you're going to get very less possessions than you normally feel that you do. So then the pressure gets turned up, and then you feel as though you have to score on every possession, and then that's when mistakes happen. So I really love this drive here by Avon, really eating up a lot of clock.
2nd down and 7. Lance got a lead block from Devin Hunter, and he's down inside the 11, perhaps even at the 10. We'll find out if it's enough to move the chains. It is. Got exactly the yardage he needed.
And also, if you're at home, I wouldn't blink too much, because this game is going to go by very, very quickly. We've seen, I think, 2 passes now in this entire first quarter. We got 1:20 left to go. So this is going to be a speedy one, but definitely exciting.
1st and goal with 1 minute and 16 seconds left in the opening quarter. Chase Myers played the first series, and that was it as the quarterback. Joey Lance down to the 3, perhaps the 2-yard line, as Massillon kept him out of the end zone. The 3rd-string quarterback Chase Myers, who again has played fine this year in his limited time, but he's not a very big guy, 5'8", 133, soaking wet.
and also this stage is unbelievable to put a young sophomore in for his first start ever. I thought we might get a lot of this tonight. They tried with Chase early, and you might see him actually come back, but I really like what they're doing here with Joey Lance, and it's obviously proven dividends.
Well, the Eagles have a good thing going right now. Lance to the right-hand side. He is in. The Avon Eagles strike for 6.
What an incredible drive, pretty much on the back of this offensive line and on the legs of Joey Lance. I mean, they just said, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to come out in this Wildcat formation. We may give it to Devin Hunter a couple times, but Joey, you got to drive us down the field, and he did just that, basically taking that entire Eagles team all the way down the field and finishing off by punching it in the end zone.
That drive took almost 7 minutes off the first quarter clock. Extra point away from tying the game. Good snap, good hold, and a good kick. We are tied at 7 with 35 seconds left in the opening quarter.
A couple key plays on that drive. You go back to the first, right when they got the ball, the first and 10. It was 3rd down and 3, backed up inside the Avon 30-yard line, and Joey broke a tackle in the backfield and squeaked his way past that first down marker to move the chains. And then you talk about that 4th and 1 where he rolled to the right, took kind of an outside zone and moved the sticks. And those are 2 huge key plays that really changed the momentum of that drive.
5th rushing touchdown this season for Joey Lance. He's over 60 carries now on the year, and he's run it for closing in on 470 yards. Devin Hunter, obviously a big part of the offense, too. He's been a 1,000-yard back this year with 18 touchdowns. Of course, that was after Nick Perusic got hurt earlier in the season and is not able to play running back at this point. Boy, you're not kidding, my friend. This game could go by in a real hurry if we see play like this.
It's going to be quick. And to add to Joey Lance's stat line, you talked about that over 400 yards rushing. That goes along with his 517 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns. So that's his 16th trip to the end zone. And he's kind of been one of your do-it-all guys for the Eagles. College
coaches love seeing athletes. It's hard to get locked in on somebody that's truly a one-position guy, but when you show the kind of versatility that Mike Elder's team has gotten from so many of their 90-some-odd players, that's what helps open eyes for playing at the next level. Squib kick from Arlen Bengu, and it's scooped up right around the 10-yard line. First opportunity for T.J. Williams to touch the football, and he's got a decent return. Massillon has it from the 23 with 29 seconds left here in the opening quarter.
And now your Massillon's offense, you come off the field that first time you do your job, but you haven't been on the field in 8 game minutes and probably 15 real-time minutes. And now you look back up on the scoreboard and it's tied up. So this is what I'm talking about. This is going to be really crucial for Massillon to not press. Just do what you're capable of doing. Don't turn the ball over and just take care of business on the offensive side of things, because that's really all you can control.
Well, they are a big play offense. Keep your eye on a home run ball over the top. You could see that from Longwell for sure. Meanwhile, the first play of the drive, Zion Pfeiffer tried to run a draw, and the Eagles snuffed it out quickly. Well done by the linebacking core, in particular Chris Pepe. No gain, 2nd down and 10. They don't have to run a play, and they will, I guess, get it off just in the nick of time. And it works out well. Jaron Hodges on the reception. And it looks like we'll have a first down to start the second quarter. Anthony and I will step aside here briefly. I think the referees are just now glancing up at the clock and realizing there are zeros on it. And so the teams head off to their respective sidelines. All right, first quarter in the books of the state semifinals. Avon 7, Massillon 7 here on Spectrum News 1.
Requested that there be no smoking. We appreciate your understanding and
Now stay connected by following us on Twitter and Facebook at Spectrum News 1, and of course at our website, spectrumnews1.com. It's the state semifinals. Region 5 champion Massillon Tigers, Region 6 champion Avon Eagles. Along with Anthony Meglin, former John Carroll quarterback, and Brendan Gulick, here is Jaden Ballard. Finally has a chance to make a big play from the 34 all the way down to the 41.
Love that recognition by Longwell and Ballard there. You got a corner blitz by Matlack on the bottom of your screen there, and both of them were able to recognize it. And a lot of times in this kind of offense where you get the tempo going, if that corner does blitz, the wide receiver and the quarterback, if they are on the same page, they have the ability to throw it there. And that's probably going to be the last time you see Longwell not be covered, as he had a nice juke move and broke it for a big game.
With the fresh set of downs, the Tigers go right back to the ground game, and Zion Pfeiffer continues to get carries here this evening. Still no sign of Terrence Keys. And perhaps it's worth mentioning at this point, since we still haven't seen Keys, that he did have an issue last week, the day before the Archbishop Hoban game. And if you want to do a little research, you can on it, but it was a legal issue that he was working through. Longwell, with that left arm, rockets one over the head of one receiver and well short of another, incomplete. So I have no idea if his lack of being on the field here in the first quarter and now into the second quarter is related to perhaps violation of team rules or anything like that. But when you have a guy that's run for 1,600 yards and he's not in the game, it does make you wonder a little bit what the issue is.
And Pfeiffer's done a good job picking up his slack. But going back to that last play, Longwell's going to be kicking himself tomorrow in film. He had a couple guys just standing wide open that he missed. But here we go.
Pfeiffer in the flat on the left side, first down. And he's pushed out of bounds at the 28-yard line after Mitchell Dupress, outside linebacker on the right half of the field, got to him.
And there you go. Massillon's beginning to open up the playbook just a little bit, not just going strictly with the run, and that's going to make them really dangerous when they can stretch, when they can gash you through the in between the tackles, but can also get some yardage through the air.
Pfeiffer again, right up the middle. And the Massillon defensive line doing a good job here early on. I like the play from Kaya Yonkers at linebacker. And certainly Chris Pepe, the defensive tackle. We got 10 minutes, 30 seconds left here on the second quarter. Second down, and let's see, looks about a 7. Longwell looking near side. Again, the clock is running. 5 seconds to get this play off. First time a handoff goes for Raekwon Venson. He rumbles his way down to the 22.
And it's so interesting looking at how Avon's trying to guard Ballard and Wilson Lamp. They're pretty much doubling the two called X and Z receivers, the both outside guys, and that's pulling guys out of the box. And we're going to see potentially, you'll see Pfeiffer, if he can squeeze through that first line of defense, there really isn't much that's left after him.
Only 3 down linemen. Longwell throwing on 3rd and 3, and he connects with Pfeiffer in the flat. Pfeiffer tackled inside the 15, but not before he picks up yet another first down. Cam Erskine on the tackle.
Oh, and by the way, when you guys can stretch the field vertically and take up space 10, 15, 20 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, those simple dump passes, those simple swings out into the flat are so easy to complete, and they are so easy to move the chains when nobody's within 10 or 15 yards.
So it's first down and 10 from the 13-yard line. Longwell hands it off. Raekwon goes rumbling over the middle. And Benson able to pick up about 4 yards, 2nd and 6. .8:30 left in the quarter. And not Venson, but Zion Pfeiffer, straight up the gut. It's an easy Massillon touchdown.
Very simple run there by Pfeiffer. Like I was talking about earlier, they had two guys accounting for both big receivers for Massillon, and Pfeiffer just went right up the gut. A great seam created by that Massillon offensive line, and he took advantage, and Massillon answers the bell. You know, those are some really, really tough drives coming off a huge momentum swing, and they came out, took care of their business, and moved this back to a one-touchdown lead.
Extra point on the way. It's up and good. 8:28 left in the first half. We'll step aside on Spectrum News 1. Eight minutes, 28 seconds left in the first half. State semifinal between Avon and Massillon. And boy, it sure has been a good game so far as the Tigers kick off after responding with their second touchdown of the night. Kick return here for the Massillon, or I should say for the Avon Eagles by Bruce DeLuey. And the running back by nature moves over to the right-hand side.
And we will see what Avon comes out with. I would be very surprised if you see Chase Myers back behind center. I think they found something that worked pretty well for him with that Wildcat. But it looks like I'm wrong, as Myers is going to take this first snap of the drive.
All right. They're going to send Lance out wide on the left-hand side. He's the middle of the three receivers there. It's a pitch play out to Devin Hunter. Lance throws a pretty good block along with his teammate Cole Zamborski. It's a reasonable gain for Hunter. Should set up second down and about 6 yards from the 28.
Talking with Coach Elder, he mentioned how Devin Hunter's a legit D1 guy, and just looking at him, looking at his body type, he's a tough dude to bring down. He runs really hard, and he's having a really great season for Avon. You can see why he's getting the praise that he is from his head coach.
Avon Eagles undefeated this year, running the table in the regular season and doing it in style, trying to get to the state championship game for just the second time in program history as flags fly. That'll be a 5-yard false start. Avon lost the state championship to Trotwood Madison back in 2011. And as I mentioned earlier, they had been state semifinalists each of the last 2 years, but losing to Archbishop Hoban. This year, wins over Worcester, Benedictine here on this field, and Avon Lake in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. Give you Massillon's road to the state semifinals here in just a moment. So it ends up being 2nd and 10 after the 5-yard gain and then the 5-yard penalty. Hunter. It's a minimal 3-yard pickup. And now it's 3rd down and 7.
And that's really the challenge when you become a one-dimensional team. You get behind the sticks like they did with that penalty. Now you're really in a tough position, because I don't know if you really want your young sophomore quarterback to have to drop back here and complete a pass on 3rd and 8. But we'll see what they end up doing. But it's really crucial that Avon plays a clean game, and you see why now.
Third down and 7. Myers throws it across his body. Was it intercepted? Yes, it was. What a pick. Robbie Page for the Massillon Tigers with a huge takeaway.
And that's a guy in Robbie Page who's been absolutely incredible this year. That's going to be his 3rd interception. He's got 10 pass deflections, 18 passes defended, coming in with 44 tackles as well. He's just everywhere. And you watch the tape of this Massillon team, you always know where number 2's at, and he makes a great play. And if you're Avon, that's exactly why you don't really want your young quarterback having to make a play on third down, because that could spell a lot of problems here as Massillon's in striking distance.
Remember, the Tigers won the toss, deferred to the second half. They would love to start adding things on here as Longwell looks for a big ball down the near side.
Oh, my goodness.
It's incomplete.
Wow.
Targeting Ballard, but he was out of bounds.
You saw a couple things there. You saw the accuracy of Aiden Longwell. That's a hash-to-sideline throw. That's probably a 60-yard throw that ball covered in the air, and he put that right on Ballard's back shoulder. Ballard, with a great catch, tried to toe tap it, was unable to do so. But you like Massillon's idea there, trying to take a shot and really put a exclamation point on this first half.
2nd down and 10. 6:27 left before halftime. Massillon leads 14-7, and they throw a screen pass to the outside. Actually, just an out route, I beg your pardon, but either way, Jaron Hodges comes up with the pass, and a pretty impressive lick by the defensive back there, C.J. Colombo.
Aiden's going to owe Jared something after that, after getting it blown up like that. That's a tough one. Throwing those out routes into that squat corner. You're going to cover 2 corner like that. The rule is your quarterback, you got to clear the corner. Make sure the corner's backing off before you throw that ball, but great catch.
3rd down and 6. Longwell over the middle. It was almost picked. Glances off of Ballard's hands, and now Massillon pretty quickly finds themselves in an awkward 4th down distance here. It's 4th and 5 from the 28.
A very interesting set of play calls there by Massillon, because this whole quarter and a half, they haven't thrown the ball more than 4 times. And you get into this series here, and they throw it on 3 straight plays. So we'll see what they dial up here. Maybe one of that swing pass that they had to Pfeiffer a couple times, but look for Ballard to potentially make a huge play.
They're going with a run up the middle, and Pfeiffer gets it on the 2nd effort. Spins out of tackles and finally driven down just outside the 10-yard line. Big time run by Zion Pfeiffer.
Whew. Just feed that man, feed that young man. That's a great run, bounce off a bunch of tackles. 4th and 5, and you hand the ball right up the gut, and your running back can do that for you. That's unbelievable.
On the 1st down carry. Down to the 6. 2nd down and 5. Well, it's an important spot here for Massillon. Got to find a way here to get this going back into the end zone and really make it hurt for the Eagles. Pfeiffer over the right-hand side, and becomes a rugby scrum. And they finally whistle a dead inside the 5.
The Tigers have been unbelievable in the red zone this year. Not only scoring points, they score on 87% of their trips inside the 20, but 77% of the time they're scoring touchdowns. They have 41 touchdowns when entering the red zone. So they're a really tough team to stop when they get down below the 20, and you see great reasons for it. Great running back and really good skilled receivers. You might see a lot to the right here.
Pfeiffer on the draw. Oh, he looked like he was stopped, and Pfeiffer spins his way in. It's a 3-touchdown first half for Zion Pfeiffer, and Massillon leads 20-7.
That's a kid taking advantage of his opportunity. He gets the opportunity to start in the state semifinal, and he's got 3 touchdown runs here in this first half. And we do have a flag on the field, a late flag, as the referees are going to go discuss with Coach Nate Moore what's going on.
Well, if you're Massillon, you're hoping that the flag is for something dead ball. Although the last thing you want is a Egg Bowl recreation.
Ooh, would have finished there. That was definitely interesting. Wouldn't have wanted to been that kid after in the locker room after that loss.
That's a hard no. Dead ball personal foul on the Massillon Tigers. And a dead ball unsportsmanlike conduct on Avon. The offsetting penalties negate each other. And a touchdown holds. .4:18 left in the first half. Well, Massillon continuing to hand the ball to perhaps their new bell cow. Hard to understand that Zion Pfeiffer has continued to get these touches in the first half. There must be some reason why Terrence Keys Jr. is unavailable. That information was not shared with us, but I can promise you they certainly have confidence in Pfeiffer, and he's showing them good reason here in the first half. Extra point attempt from Alex Bauer, no problem. And Massillon takes a 21-7 lead.
That's an awesome drive, awesome defensive possession by the Tigers. Awesome drive by the Tiger offense there. Especially you talk about how they could have been a little momentum swing back in Avon's way. It's 4th and 6 in that awkward position right about the 26-yard line. It's too far to kick it, too close to punt it, and you hand it off to Pfeiffer, and Pfeiffer's just continually giving everybody reasons in this first half to make you understand why he's getting the football as much as he is, and really to make a huge impact on this game. And now it's just going to be a very, very big possession here for Avon.
Real quick, if you're Avon, can you afford to go back to Chase Myers here?
No, I don't see how you can. I've been in this position before. I was a sophomore quarterback with a young team, with a veteran team, and that's a very tough position. And you got to make sure before you send him out there. And Coach Elder talked about this at length with us on the call, and I'll wait a sec.
Lance to the left-hand side, and he got creamed. Great special teams coverage from Seth Lance.
Great play there, but you know, Coach Elder talked about with Seth that this team and the culture that they've built in this locker room, they've really supported him, and they've really had no problem with him, taking over this quarterback role. But before you put him back behind center, you have to look into his eyes and make sure that kid's not scared, because this can be a very challenging, daunting, and honestly terrifying task for that young kid, and we'll see what they decide to do here.
Now, Avon can't afford to not get in the end zone here, and it will be Joey Lance that comes out as the quarterback. Remember, Massillon will have the football first to start the second half, and we're already at 4 minutes and 13 seconds remaining before halftime in what has been a very quick game tonight. Lance on the first play of the drive has the edge. He's got way more than he needed, and Lance has a big gain for a first down.
And get used to seeing this Wildcat set with Joey Lance back there, because now that's a huge start to this drive. Very big response from this Avon Eagle team.
Joey Lance for 16 yards to move the sticks. 4 first half touchdowns, all on the ground. Avon's second possession was pretty impressive. Started on their own 21. They went all the way up the field in about 7 minutes' time and mauled their way into the end zone. Lance fakes it, cuts back up the middle, and it ends up working out for a 3.5, 4-yard gain. Those are productive on first down.
It was a really good play on the edge by Robbie Page. He was down low. Not Robbie Page. That was number 3, Preston Hodges, who really set the edge. It's really important on the fast guys running the ball out of the backfield to keep contain on them. You saw in that first play of the drive, they lost contain on Lance, and he got 15 yards. That second play, Hodges kept him inside, forced him back to the help, and changed a big game into a gain of 3 and something manageable for the Massillon defense.
Hodges had the big tackle last week that ended Hoban's state championship hopes again. They have four-peated, won 22 straight playoff games till last week. Look at Lance all the way across midfield. Great cutback right around the D in the word field at the midfield logo. And Joey Lance right now is a problem for the Massillon Tigers.
Awesome adjustment. I love this. I love the success that Avon's having by doing this. And I'm not sure if you're Massillon, you got to be able to draw something up here to be able to stop this, because this is something that for as far as we've seen can be very sustainable.
3 minutes left in the first half. Both teams have all 3 timeouts at their disposal. And given the way Avon is moving the football, you almost think they don't really have a choice. They have to find a way to at least get something out of this drive. Hunter on the cutback run, and he's down to the 42. At least that's where he dove forward, but they're going to mark him back at the 44. Maybe his knee hit earlier. Clock's running here, 2:30.
One thing, too, if you're Massillon, you can't fall asleep on the back end. You know, it can be very easy for your secondary guys, your corners, and your safeties to think they're taking a play off. But I know that Lance is definitely athletic enough, and he has the ability to throw one up to these talented receivers, and that could be a huge gash play. So if I'm on the back end of Massillon, you got to stay locked in and focused because it could be a big detriment if you don't.
Lance running right, and he stiff-armed a guy, helping him pick up 2. Clock is running 1:55 here, 3rd down and 4. Well, the concern for Avon is that they can't get enough yardage in this time. They're going to need to break off a big run if they're going to continue to move the ball on the ground this drive. 4 receivers set. Massillon still keeping 6 or 7 in the box defensively. Lance going to throw it. Now he's up in the pocket. He is not quite where he needed initially, but he spun forward. Let's see where they give him for the spot. He needs a 38. Wow, that's where they put him.
Great run, and they're going to move the sticks. Wow, that's another time. Joey Lance got hit the first time on 3rd down and is able to fend off a tackle and move the sticks. Playing with a lot of heart, that's for sure.
Clock running, 1:13 before halftime. And a timeout called for by Massillon. Interesting. So the Tigers take a timeout. Massillon 21, Avon 7. Avon had to punt on the first possession of the game. Then 3 straight possessions ending in touchdowns. Avon threw that interception their last drive. Massillon cashed it in for Zion Pfeiffer's 3rd rushing score of the first half. And again, if you've tuned in and out or if you didn't hear it earlier, Massillon gets the ball to start the 3rd quarter. This is a critical drive for the Eagles.
Critical drive, and I like the timeout spent by Massillon. You could feel it, we could feel it here in the building, but you can see that Avon, again, just like that first touchdown drive, they're building some momentum, and it doesn't take much. It just takes a first down or 2, and then you start really pressing the tempo and really pushing it. And now I like that timeout by Massillon just to get everybody on the same page. Remind your guys, hey, continue to keep your gap integrity. Don't do anything that's, don't try to be a Superman on this play. Just do your responsibility and make the play when it comes to you, because that's the best way to stop a running attack like this.
Down by 2 scores with 1:11 to go. Lance dancing through the line of scrimmage. It's a short gain of 3, 2nd down and 7. And if you're Massillon, there's nothing wrong with gains of 3 in situations like this.
You take this too, because now we're under a minute. So we'll see how Avon looks to attack this end of the half.
Hunter races right through the middle. He's pretty close. They'll give it to him. 1st down, 49 seconds.
You see this tempo here. Here comes Avon. Looking to press it just because you're running out of time and just because you're one-dimensional now.
Well, they've got 3 timeouts. Lance cuts it back in the middle. He has carried the football on probably 75% of their plays. And they get a timeout here after a sizable gain down to the 20. 37 seconds to go. It's a 2nd down and 2 coming up. Well, if you're Avon, 2 timeouts, 37 seconds. I know the field's getting a little shorter here, but they've got a legitimate chance.
You got a legitimate chance at a touchdown for sure, especially because you're not just seeing 2 and 3 yard carries. Obviously, those are sprinkled in, but a lot of runs on this drive have been 8 yards, 9 yards, 10 yards. And also, too, you can get aggressive here because we spoke with Coach, and we're definitely in field goal range here. There's no wind down on the field, and he said just about we're comfortable inside the 20 kicking a field goal. Max would probably be about the 25-yard line. So looks like we're in between. We're in that. So you definitely feel as though you have 3 points on the board. So you can definitely be aggressive and try to really push the ball towards the end zone.
Lance only has 1 passing attempt all year for what that's worth. He continues to line up. He's going to throw it. Lance looking. Then he tucks it underneath. He's got a first down, so the clock will stop briefly with exactly 30 seconds on it. But you're right, you can't be too predictable in a situation like this.
Yeah, and that was definitely a pass play he was rolling out. He had his tight end running in the end zone. Could have maybe thrown a jump ball, but I really liked the decision to keep it on the to hold on to it and not turn it over.
Oh, great defensive play. Near side, it was Preston Hodges. And Avon has to burn one of the remaining 2 timeouts.
So now it gets interesting because now you want to spare that last timeout to stop the clock. So that kind of really hinders yourself. And really, you only have a couple plays left, even if you were throwing the ball anyway. So you just got to be really careful. I'm not sure how they're going to attack this because I don't see him putting Chase Myers back into the game for a heave to the end zone.
On the season, Nathaniel Vakos, 5 of 6. But he has not connected on a field goal from beyond 40 yards. So distance-wise, this shouldn't be too bad. You're at the 16. At the moment, you're talking about a 33-yard field goal. I'll tell you the other thing Avon has to do here, and it can't be your focus, but it better be in the back of your head. Got to protect the football here.
Protect it at all costs. Do not let this drive end with the ball in Massillon's hands. That's definitely priority number 1.
Let's see what the Eagles draw up. Can they find a way to get within a score before halftime? Lance rolling right. Lance throwing. Incomplete. Good try for Noah Mangan, just shy of the goal line. But the ball bounced on the turf. 15 seconds left.
I love that route call. A little out cut right at the pylon. You're aiming for it, and I really like the confident throw by Joey Lance. Obviously, not a quarterback. That's a tough throw, even if you are a quarterback. Rolling to your right, really having to step into that one. It was a good try, but you're probably going to see something similar to that right here.
So you throwing the ball here, or are you running it to try and get a closer field goal?
You absolutely could. I could see him keeping it on the ground, and if they break one for a touchdown, great. If not, you're going to run it, secure yourself a nice chip shot.
Lance calls his own number. Trying to angle the left-hand side. Lance looking for the edge. He's driven out of bounds at the 5. The clock stops with 6 seconds on it.
And now they're going to wind it, so they stopped it for getting the first down. So you'll probably see Avon spend a timeout here.
Yeah, Mike Elder's running down. I think he's just going to wait until there's 1 second here before he calls that timeout. 2 and timeout. 1. Okay, so they officially stop it with 1 second. All right, so they couldn't get in the end zone, and so now it's decision time. If you're Avon, sometimes you want to win a state championship, you got to figure out a way to come up with some gutsy calls or gutsy plays at opportune times. And the decision here is, do you want to go this entire drive up the field and not get anything out of it if you go for it and don't get in?
First of all, it has been an awesome drive. What a great drive going right down the field here. And a couple things. That's definitely a tough call over there. If you're going to kick the field goal or try to get the points, only because Massillon's getting the ball out of half. So you're assuming if you're Avon that Massillon's going to go take it down and score. So that's worst case scenario.
Well, they haven't stopped him yet tonight either.
I would take the points. However, just because if you go for it and you don't get it, that's almost that's a crushing blow. It's something that would be tough to recover from.
Wow. We are 1 second before halftime, and the Avon Eagles are lining up for a field goal. Nathaniel Vakos. It's a 23-yard field goal try. High snap, good hold. Vakos with a good strong leg, and he bangs one through the uprights. And the Eagles run out the final 4:18 of the first half. It's 21-10 going to the locker room.
My name is Jaden Wilson, and you're watching Massillon Tiger football only on WHS-TV.
The eye of the tiger.
Welcome back to Byersfield in Parma, where the Avon Eagles and Massillon Tigers are playing pretty well so far in the state semifinals. The winner will play either Cincinnati LaSalle or Toledo Central Catholic for the Division II state championship next week. Along with Anthony Meglin, I'm Brendan Gulick here on Spectrum News 1. It's 21-10 at the half. Avon went all the way up the field, got a field goal out of a lengthy drive, Anthony, but we talked a little bit off the air. It's always good to get points. You want to get something out of it. They had a 1 second left in the game, or left in the first half. They were at the 6-yard line. Obviously, that's not a guarantee to get a touchdown. But they went from a 2-score game down 21-7 to a 2-score game down 21-10, and Massillon gets the football first. Massillon has scored 3 touchdowns in their 3 possessions. Avon's defense has some work to do.
100%. You couldn't have hit it right on the head any better. That was a great drive by Avon going right down the field. And, at first I thought take the points for sure, just get 3. And then after talking about it with you, I see that, I don't think getting 3 was the right decision. I think that they definitely should have went for it and tried to get it because just the way that first half went, it's no guarantee, like you said, that you can stop Massillon's offense at all. So it's good. That's going to be the challenge, and that had to be the message the entire halftime. Hey, defense, we need 1 stop. Just get us 1 stop because really, on the flip side of things, Massillon hasn't been able to stop the Wildcat formation, and I think that that's what we're going to see. As during warm-ups here, we saw Joey Lance actually just dropping back and throwing the football, warming up. So I think we're going to see him staying at QB. So both defenses have kind of, not been really able to stop both offenses. So, if you're Avon right now, this is the tone setter. You're going to kick off, and if you can force Massillon to have to punt or turn it over, it's going to be a brand new ball game.
Still no Terrence Keys Jr. tonight for the Massillon Tigers, at least not in the first half, but that didn't really affect their effectiveness offensively. Zion Pfeiffer, 11 carries, 69 yards, 3 touchdowns. Aiden Longwell threw the ball well, 6 of 9 through the air for 67 yards. Spread it around to 4 different receivers, but it's been primarily a running attack for both teams. Avon ran the ball 29 times. They threw it twice. Once was an interception. Or I should say they threw it 3 times. Once an interception, once for a 1-yard gain, and once as an incompletion. The other 29 plays were all on the ground, and they moved it fine on the ground. Devin Hunter, 10 carries for 37 yards. But as you said, Massillon really hasn't stopped that Wildcat offense. Joey Lance, 19 carries for 132 yards. And, of course, the 1 rushing touchdown. And so the question is, who can make a better halftime adjustment? Avon will kick the ball off here to start the second half.
I'm excited to see what both of these coaching staffs were able to come up with here at halftime. I think if you're Massillon's defense, you're actually going to put 1 more guy in the box, I believe, and really go straight man-to-man coverage throughout all of the secondary and just say, our athletes are better than yours. If you want to throw it, you're going to have to throw it accurately. And for Avon, I think it's really just a function of tackle the ball carrier, and I know that's a hard task. We're asking you to tackle Zion Pfeiffer, who's running like a bull right now. But that's what it comes down to. There's a lot of times he's got a lot of yards after contact. So I think if you're Avon, it's as simple as tackle the football when you have the opportunity. And for Massillon, I think you're going to see him stack the box a little bit more.
We're ready to kick off the second half. State semifinals. Here we go. Isaiah Roberson from the 10-yard line for the Tigers. Boy, he's got some good blocks set up. And he's finally run out of bounds. Great return for Massillon and a good start here to this second half. They'll have field position that might be good, but I do see a flag down right around the 30. I think it's going to come back 10 yards. It is for holding. Maybe that's why it was such a good return.
Yeah. It's funny how that often works. But if for Massillon's offense, I'd like to see them throw the ball a little bit more. We saw one series they had where they primarily threw it, and it was 3 out of 5 plays they threw the football. So, throughout the season, they haven't thrown the ball much. They throw it about 16 times a game. But I'd really like to see them try to open it up and stretch it vertically and see if they can have a big gash play. Not that they need it, but it would be nice. It would open up the run game even that much more.
Zion Pfeiffer is the tailback here at the start of the half. Massillon state runner-up last year. Trying to have a chance to get back to Canton next week as Pfeiffer starts the half with a run up the middle, and he busts through for a gain of 10.
You see him get clogged up there at the initial point of contact. It seems as though there's eagle bodies everywhere, and then Pfeiffer just squeezes through, and he moves the sticks again.
First down for the Tigers. This is their 4th possession, and they have found the end zone every time so far. Pfeiffer up the gut. The Eagles gang tackle him, but not before forward progress crosses the 35 up to the 36-yard line. That's the other thing Massillon does so well, Anthony. They are really productive on first downs.
And that's the name of the game. That's half the battle, because if you're, like we mentioned earlier, if you're ahead of the sticks, you're ahead of schedule, that opens everything up. Now you're confident. Massillon's shown how confident they are in running the football. This is an opportunity to try to stretch the field. You don't have to run it because you know that you're confident you're going to get 4 yards a carry.
Raekwon Venson gobbled up for a short gain of 1. 3rd down and 3. Well done by Mike Laub, the senior defensive end, in on the stop.
And now here's the play really you could call it the play of the game right now. If you can get Massillon to have to punt here, that would be a huge, huge start to the half.
Well, we said it. Avon needs, at minimum, unless they score on a defensive score, they're going to need 2 stops. Perhaps they can get one here early on. So Aiden Longwell surveys the defense. Pfeiffer again.
There you go.
And he didn't even get close to the line of scrimmage. Absolutely creamed by Jake Wilson. And the Tigers will have to punt.
And that's exactly what the doctor ordered. If you're Avon, it didn't start great. You got a gain of 12 on that first run of the series, but they buttoned up and they were able to stop the Tigers on 3 straight plays. And now they're going to get the ball back with a really good chance here to cut it to 1 possession.
Massillon's first punt. Remember, in the second half last week, Massillon and Hoban didn't score a point. Back and forth the entire half. That game ended 17-14. That's a pretty good kick by Massillon punter and kicker Magnus Haynes. And it's going to be down at the 34-yard line. The wind is blowing from right to left. It's not a big breeze, but enough to be somewhat effective. Meanwhile, there is a flag on the play, and it's for a false start. It was all the way back, laying right on top of the 35-yard line. And Avon declines the penalty and says, you know what? Time is more important right now. We'll take the football at the 34.
Very interesting. You mentioned last week's game where Massillon didn't score a point in the second half, and they didn't give up a point either. But looking throughout the season, in the third quarter, they've only scored 93 points throughout the season, only 80 points in the fourth quarter. That's a function of being dominant in a lot of games and really not having to push the ball, but that's compared to 233 second quarter points and 147 first quarter points. So definitely a blip in production here in the second half.
Drive starts at their own 34-yard line, and the quarterback is still Joey Lance, who's trying to run to the right-hand side. And a positive play on first down. Forced out by a couple Tigers, including Luke Murphy. 2nd down and 6. Actually, they're putting him all the way up to 39, so it's 2nd down and 5. If you've just tuned in, Massillon and Avon looking for their first state championships. A win today would give them a chance to play for that title. Minimal gain sets up 3rd down and 3. Anthony Nate Moore's team certainly feels the weight of wanting to win their first state championship in program history, as Avon tried to quickly get up to the line there. Meanwhile, Mike Elder says his team has literally not talked about it once until this week. Obviously, they know what's at stake, but they've been so focused on being in the moment and just trying to extend the season 1 more week. Lance on the 3rd effort backpedals his way across the sticks. 1st down.
That kid's playing with a lot of heart, but we talked about it before the game, Brennan, and I'm from Stark County. I grew up in Canton, and Massillon has always been, it's the Massillon Tigers. Everybody knows who the Massillon Tigers are, and even getting into prep this week for this game, I didn't even realize they had never won a state championship in the playoff era, which is unbelievable because this program is so storied and there's so much history, and you definitely know that football's different in Massillon, Ohio, and when these guys definitely are feeling the pressure, and it's just a complete contrast in styles and cultures on each sideline tonight.
1970. Last time the Tigers were state champs. Lance might have been better off handing it to Devin Hunter there. Good pressure from Ethan Tobin, who read that well. Lance got back to the line of scrimmage, no gain. 2nd down and 10 with 8:05 and counting here in the 3rd. Tigers lead the game 21-10. Avon got a big stop here on the first possession of this second half. down by 11, trying to cut it to a one-score game.
And we'll see what Avon can do on this 2nd and 10 here to kind of get it into 3rd and manageable. We'll see if they try to keep it on the ground.
Devin Hunter through the right side. He's across midfield, almost at the 49-yard line, and that is manageable. Picked up 5 to go. Tiger fans coming to their feet, trying to back the orange and black. Perhaps no cooler venue in Ohio high school football than Paul Brown Stadium over in Massillon. There are some neat places to play, but that might be the premier place, and boy, do their fans travel well. 3 receivers, a tight end, and a running back. 3rd and 5. And flags fly. False start.
So now this is going to back them up to 3rd and 10, but you mentioned it, Brennan, down in Massillon, Ohio, this kind of crowd, this type of crowd and this size of crowd is not unnormal to these players. This is a typical Friday night for them. They down in Massillon, football is everything from August to December, and you're seeing it tonight. I wish you guys could feel it and see it at home, but it's an absolutely unbelievable atmosphere here tonight.
It was on SportsCenter's Titletown USA a few years back, and appropriately so. Tigers open for a big stop. I wouldn't recommend running it at Manny McElroy, the nose tackle, who weighs 330. 3rd and 10, Lance to the left-hand side, cuts it back up. He's got it. 1st down. Hold on a second. They're ruling him short. Boy, when he dove, I sure thought he had the 44.
Well, you're definitely going for it here if you're Avon, but I can't believe how Massillon couldn't even get lined up to that last formation, and they're struggling to get lined up now.
Devin Hunter has it.
Wow.
Well, he only needed one. I wish we had the ability to show you a replay. I sure thought it was close that Lance had the 1st down, but it doesn't harm the Eagles.
Wow, 3rd and 10. And Joey Lance gets 9 3/4 of a yard to keep this Avon Eagles team alive. That's really what it was. You can't, they're going to be running out of time here, especially, there's 6 minutes left to go here in this 3rd quarter, and just the style of play that they have. And we talked about it too. These long drives are great, but you're spending 8 minutes, 6 minutes, 5 minutes just to move the ball down the field, and that, at some point you're going to run out of time.
I appreciate the officials going about it the right way for a measurement here, but I can't possibly see how this would be short unless the chains were not appropriately lined up on the far side. Yeah, almost by the entire length of the football. 1st down, Avon. All right. But as you mentioned, there's already 6:07 left on this 3rd quarter clock. Avon's 2nd possession, they scored their 1st touchdown to tie the game at 7. It was a 7-minute drive up the field. They got points out of it, but this is a game that is going to move by pretty quickly. The Eagles all looking over at that far sideline. They've shot themselves in the foot a couple of times tonight, but so far the penalties haven't been costly enough.
Have not.
And I think they may reset the play clock here. That's exactly what they'll do. 21-10, Massillon. Lance at quarterback. He's got Hunter behind him. This is Hunter running left-hand side. It was pretty good push by Avon's left tackle, Mason Bingham. And it helped pick up 2, maybe 3. Second down and 8. Put the ball on the 42-yard line. 3 receivers all split to the top of your screen. Noah Mangan, Tommy Purcell, and Mike Matlack all out there. All of a sudden now Hunter becomes the left sidecar instead of the pistol look. Hunter stretching to the right-hand side. Thought he could get to the edge, and he paid for it. Got greedy, and Robbie Page took him down.
Don't love that play call there by Avon. I know Hunter's been your guy all year, and he's been great all year long, but I think you gotta you got to ride Lance as long as you possibly can until he can't go anymore, because he's everything. He's literally been everything for this entire offense, and we'll see what they do here on 3rd and 7. But he has been Mr. Third Down all night. He's been able to move the sticks regardless of the down and distance. So we'll see if he can pull something out of his bag of tricks here.
Inside 4:30 in the 3rd, everybody packing the box. Lance running left, Lance running right. Where's he going to go? Absolutely nowhere. Bent Creek bomb. Stopped him for a loss.
And they finally were able to stop Lance on 3rd down here. That's about 4 or 5 times now where he's been able to move the sticks in high-pressure situations. But at some point, teams will figure out how to defend against those sweep plays that they've been running. And Massillon did a really good job on that last play, and we're able to get Avon off the field.
Arlen Bengu to punt. Robbie Page waiting for it at the 10. 3 minutes, 47 seconds left. In the 3rd quarter, Bengu bangs it down the air. Shows off that monster leg. Can Avon pin him deep?
There you go.
Oh, just barely across the goal line.
Great hustle. Great punt by Bengu. Almost had it pinned down low, but Massillon will get the ball out, starting out at the 25.
It's been a great state semifinal.
This is awesome. This is awesome. I never got to play in one of these, but I'm sure I'm jealous of these kids. This is an incredible night, one that they'll never forget, regardless of win or loss.
All right, here come the Tigers, nursing an 11-point lead. If you're just joining us, or if you haven't seen much of the Avon Eagles this year, about 11 kids hurt. They're on their 3rd quarterback. Good screen pass near side. That's a great defensive play by Cam Erskine. There's a flag down on the field. I wonder if maybe it's a horse collar tackle.
Sure what it's going to be, but Erskine made a awesome play. He tackled both his blocker and the ball carrier. That was a gutsy play by the corner.
Meanwhile, Mitchell Durpass is an injured Eagle here. It is a horse collar tackle. 15-yard penalty and a 1st down.
That's a tough one. I don't know if I necessarily love that, but we do have an injured Eagle down right below on the bottom of your screen.
Hopefully that won't be a lengthy injury for Avon. In the meantime, again, if you haven't followed the Eagles much this year, probably not the favorite coming into this game, given the speed and the athleticism in the defensive secondary and, frankly, at the skill positions offensively. But pretty impressive the way Avon has gone about it tonight. Their starting quarterback tonight is their 3rd-string quarterback this year. He's a sophomore, Chase Myers, 5'8", 133 pounds, and we've hardly seen him on the field because in that first drive, he really couldn't move the ball much. It went 3 and out. Avon all year long has shown some different looks. They've run the Wildcat with some different kinds of players. And as soon as Joey Lance went in there on that 2nd drive, bang, he went down the field and orchestrated a long scoring drive. And so it was as if the Eagles found something on the run, if you will. And it's worked out okay, but they're still down by 11.
False start you're going to get here.
They had a pretty clean first half.
Yeah, nothing really big. Now you got back-to-back penalties here by both teams.
All right, so back to the 29-yard line. 1st down and 15. 3 minutes, 18 seconds left, 3rd quarter. Out they come. Near side, Wilson Lamp on the screen pass.
Another great play down there. That looks like it was that was Matlack again, down at the bottom of your screen, fending off a block. Those are tough. You get those athletes in space, and they know how to make people miss.
By the way, the latest update we have for you is a halftime score between Toledo Central Catholic and Cincinnati LaSalle. It's 21-14 LaSalle at halftime, as the Lancers try to get back to the state title game. Longwell wants it all down the left sideline.
Oh, my goodness.
Almost a fabulous catch by the Ohio State commit Jaden Ballard, but it falls incomplete.
Interesting. There's not much in between for this Massillon passing game. It's either a bubble screen or a little slip screen out to the left or right, or it's a 30-yard ball down the field. But another great throw by Longwell, giving this guy a chance. Oftentimes, that's all that those guys need. Just give me a shot, and sometimes they come down with it. And Ballard almost came down with a spectacular grab.
Look, I'm not in the business of second-guessing coaching decisions on either side, but I do find it odd that Massillon elects to throw the football and chance stopping the clock, given that they've run it so successfully tonight. Longwell floats a screen out to the left-hand side. Pfeiffer on 3rd and 12 is able to pick up 5 with a late flag in.
I agree with you, Brennan, though. They've had so much success running the ball, and not only do incompletion stop the clock, but that gets you in 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 12, and that's been very challenging for both teams tonight. But Massillon gets blessed there with it. Looks like it was a face mask that they're going to get a free first down on.
Well, Mike Elder said it last week. The reason why his team got past Avon Lake, they essentially played a perfect game. They didn't commit costly penalties. They didn't have any serious issues. Didn't turn the football over.
And barring that one turnover, and that might, don't want to try to predict the future, but that might be the one mistake that might cost them. That Massillon was able to turn that into directly into 7 points, and we'll see.
It looks like it may only be a 5-yard face mask here, which is kind of interesting.
To be honest,
okay.
I didn't know we still had 5.
Yeah, I didn't either. All right, so it's 4th and 1 instead of an automatic, or I should say 3rd and 1. Instead of a first down, they give it to Raekwon Vernon. There he goes up the left side. Vernon down inside the 25 on maybe the biggest play of the game.
That's a backbreaker if you're Avon. You thought you had a stop, and then a penalty keeps the drive going, and now Massillon takes complete advantage of it with just an absolute explosive play to see if they can score now. That might be a little too tall of a hill to climb if you're Avon.
It's a gain of about 30 yards on the ground to set up 1st and 10 from the 25. Pfeiffer shakes 2 tackles, still won't go down. Zion Pfeiffer has a 4-touchdown semifinal.
And out of his 4 touchdowns, this was by far the best run. Breaking a bunch of tackles, 3-4 tackles, and is able to outrun that Avon secondary. Wow, what a run and what a night by Zion Pfeiffer. 4 scores in the state semifinal. Unbelievable.
For a guy that has not been the feature back all year behind the electrifying Terrence Keys Jr., Pfeiffer had 8 rushing touchdowns this season coming into tonight. He's got 4 as he's having the biggest game of his life. 28-10, Massillon out front. Boy, Avon thought they had him wrapped up 3 different times, and Pfeiffer just wouldn't go down.
Man.
The way he keeps his legs moving.
He is just tough to tackle. That's not a guy, if he's running at me, that I want to step in front of. Dude runs like a bull.
Massillon Tigers have 41 rushing touchdowns this year in 14 games. So if they make their way to Canton next week, Cincinnati LaSalle or Toledo Central Catholic, they're going to have to figure out a way to stop the run. And
I don't even know if there's a way to stop it. You got to figure out how to try and contain it.
I mean, look, man, they're closing in on 2,800 rushing yards for the season in 14 games. Talking about 200 yards a game on the ground.
I think the crazier part is one guy has 1,600 of those, and that's Terrence Keys. But then the other remaining, yardage is taken up from a multitude of players, and that's just a testament to your offensive line, as they've been electric all year.
Bruce Dooley on the kick return up to the 16-yard line, and so Avon has a long field to work with here. Late third quarter, just $1.58. Along with former John Carroll quarterback Anthony Meglin, I'm Brendan Gulick from Byers Field in Parma. The Massillon Tigers just might be on their way to the state championship game for the second year in a row.
And if you thought this crowd was electric for Massillon, all they got to do next week, if they're able to close this thing out, all they got to do is drive 15 minutes to the site of the greatest rivalry in high school sports. At that Hall of Fame stadium, Tom Benson Stadium. Reverse.
Well, perhaps it'll work. It's a reverse pass. Oh, he hit it. Great throw on the run by Mike Matlack. Tommy Purcell, the reception. Avon goes into the deep pages of the playbook, and they pick up a huge chunk. Look how fast they're coming up to the line. Timeout. Massillon.
Avon said, "Hold on, boys. You guys are talking about Canton next week." He said, "We still got a quarter left to go." What a trick play, and that's kind of what I was referencing earlier. It's really easy all game long. These corners have gotten 3 pass attempts at them. They're falling asleep. It's very simple to just, hey, you see it all the time. Corners and wide receivers just do this dummy block where they're just both standing there chilling. But you fall asleep one time and you get gashed, and now Avon's got some life.
Mike Matlack to Tommy Purcell on the wide receiver pass. And Avon strikes on their biggest play from scrimmage. By the way, Matlack hasn't thrown the ball once all year. Danny Zay was the starting quarterback at the beginning of the season. Nico Pappas, the backup quarterback, and he could still play defense, but he's got a hand injury on his throwing hand, and it's preventing him from playing quarterback, so that's why they needed to go to the third-string QB. But Matlack threw a pretty decent ball, all things considered.
That was beautiful, and it was in a big spot, too.
Well, it's just not easy for the Tigers. Devin Hunter straight ahead, 2 hard-fought yards, 2nd down and 8 coming for a guy who's got 18 rushing touchdowns on the season, over 1,000 yards. In fact, he's over 1,100 with his productive night tonight. Clock is rolling here with 1:30 left in the third quarter. Part of the problem for Avon is the element of surprise is probably thrown out the window here. Lance is going to throw it, or at least he wants to. Got to find a way to get rid of it. Fortunate.
A smart play to just dump that one into the sidelines and live to fight. Live to fight another down. That's all we're about here as we're getting into the fourth quarter.
Caden Woolard with terrific pursuit. And Lance was able to sidestep the sack over on the sideline. Now it's 3rd down and 8. They need the 39 to get a fresh set of downs. Hunter running left. Oh my goodness.
He had it. He had a seam. The turf monster got him.
It's a really tough break. It's a gain of 1, and now it's 4th down and 7. Tough break. See how he responds from it. Might have tripped on a seam in the turf.
Or there's a sniper somewhere. That's unfortunate. 4th down.
Matlack, the motion man. Lance, got to have a first down here. He wants to run it. Nowhere close to the line to gain. Massillon comes up with a big 4th down stop. They lead by 18 with 28 seconds left in the third quarter. And the Tigers are starting to feel that their state championship hopes could be a reality.
It's a great stop over there on the sidelines. Really a great response by that Massillon defense. You get that trick play, after the touchdown, you guys are feeling good. Trick play comes, and that kind of sets you back into reality. They use a timeout, get everybody calmed down and relaxed, and they were able to hold tough for 4 straight plays. And now I think you're going to get a heavy dose of Zion Pfeiffer here as they try to run out the clock.
Here come the Tigers back out on the field, and you're right, I can't imagine that Massillon is going to do anything too screwy. They hand it to Jaden Ballard just to get him a chance to put the football in the hands of your best playmaker. And he stays inbounds. The clock will keep running. And Massillon won't have to run another play in the third quarter if they don't want to. But I'm sure they're not thrilled with a 4-yard loss to set up 2nd and 14.
Not a great start to the drive, but you know, the way Pfeiffer's been running all night, 15 yards doesn't seem like much for him.
3 quarters complete. And Massillon still has some work to do, but boy, are they in the driver's seat. 28-10 here on Spectrum News 1. Start of the fourth quarter from Byers Field in Parma. Neutral site for the state semifinals. And it's the Massillon Tigers 28, the Avon Eagles 10. Massillon has the football, 2nd down and 14 as they get rolling here at the start of the fourth quarter. 12-minute quarters in high school football, and we've seen fewer possessions today than most high school football games, purely because both teams have put such an emphasis on running the football. Especially on Avon. They've only thrown it 5 times all game. Here goes Pfeiffer up the right side. He's already got 4 rushing touchdowns today, and he's out of bounds, shy of the first down marker. It should be 3rd down and 2. They put him down at the 48.
He's running like a man on a mission, trying to carry this Massillon Tigers team down to Canton. And what an absolute great performance by Pfeiffer this evening.
Well, on top of that, again, I don't want to speculate as to why Terrence Keys is not playing, but if it's not for health reasons, if he is available to play next week,
this would be a tough
backfield. How in the world do you stop these 2 guys? Pfeiffer, 3rd and 2. He's got it and then some.
Ooh, he almost broke another.
And a flag thrown in behind the play. Pfeiffer was tackled at the 38-yard line. Might be coming back here, though. Sure is. I think they might have hit Terrence Rankle, the junior right tackle on the right side of the line there. Well, that's a big play for the Avon Eagles. Back all the way to the 40-yard line to set up 3rd and 9. It's a spot foul, 10 yards. So, yes, it was 3rd and 2. Now it's 3rd and 9, but it's 10 yards from where the hold occurred. 11:47 left in regulation. Longwell wants to air it out. He's got a good pocket. Zings it over the middle, and it's dropped. Boy, oh boy. Anthony Pedro's going to have nightmares about that one.
Ooh, you got it. I mean, it looked like it hit him right in the face mask. I mean, that was a great throw. Looked like Longwell held on to it just a little too long. I think he was open for, a couple seconds running through the middle of the field. But still, regardless, that's a catch that just has to be made. But it was not. And the Tigers are going to have to punt.
Massillon has Joey Lance and Noah Mangan back deep to return the punt. Avon's drive stalls at their own 45-yard line. Bounces around, and Avon won't bother returning it. Holy smokes, what a punt.
That's a member's bounce right there, that's for sure.
Magnus Haynes with a rocket down the field. Avon takes over. 11:24 left in the fourth quarter. They've got their work cut out for them. Well, how's this one played out compared to your expectations at the beginning of the game?
Absolutely. I think it's been very this is kind of what I thought it was going to be, just based on what Avon did last week, having to run the ball most of the game, and just looking at what Massillon's done all year, just both teams primarily running the football. I knew it was going to be a quick game, and there weren't going to be many possessions, and I knew that Massillon, if they could hit a couple big plays, it was going to be really tough for Avon to hang around.
Joey Lance, I think that was a designed play. Dropped back like he was going to pass, but pretty quickly tucked it and ran up the middle. Good gain on 1st and 10, sets up 2nd and 5. Clock is rolling inside 11 minutes and 5 seconds here. 28-10, Massillon with 1 touchdown here in the 4th quarter, or I should say in the 3rd quarter. So far, this second half has been a lot tamer offensively than we saw early on.
Wow.
Boy, what a great play.
That was that play, that outside sweep that's really been working for Avon all night long. And a really nice play by Caden Wolford to make a stop, shed his block at the line of scrimmage, and just trip up Joey Lance and get him for a loss.
Woolard's not a very big guy, but he has had a good ability this year to throw offensive linemen around. 6'2", 200 pounds. He's got an explosive first step as a defensive end. He's made several good plays in the playoffs. Chase Myers back in at quarterback. He's looking to throw back to his left.
Throw it into the ground.
And Myers runs out of bounds near the 6-yard line. Fourth and 9. Wow, they gave him a pretty good spot. I thought he was out at the 6. They say he was out at the 9-yard line. Did you see it differently?
No, there you go. There you go. They just moved it. They moved it back.
All right.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure that one out. Avon's going to punt from their own end zone here. And from the back of their end zone at that. Bengu gets it away, and he hits a rocket up the field. Boy, that's a really good kick. Page, just onto his side of midfield, dives across the center stripe. And with 9:59 left in regulation, Massillon gets the ball back quickly.
Some quick math on that. I mean, he was standing, 2 or a yard or so off the back line and kicked it past the 50-yard line. So he really got into that punt. It was a very good job of, trying to flip the field. And that might not mean too much at the end of the day, but a very nice effort.
All right, they put it right on midfield. And if you're the Massillon Tigers with an 8-point lead here, you have one mission, and that's protect the football. 18-point lead means it's a 3-score game, and time is on their side as they hand it off to Raekwon Venson, who cuts it back to the right-hand side, and he is just barely tripped up in time. Mike Matlack, good play.
It just, these guys, both of these running backs just get into the hole, and the first guy never tackles them. It's really, really amazing. I think that was Pfeiffer on that carry, but he just does not get tackled on this first guy.
I beg your pardon, it was Pfeiffer. They look exactly the same, and one's wearing 26, one wears 29. Look at Pfeiffer go. Zion right through the middle. Had to be careful, almost had it poked away when Cam Erskine came across him. Otherwise, it's a big Pfeiffer run. Could he possibly be working toward a 5th rushing touchdown of the night? Massillon fans love it. 9:12 to go. The Tigers appear like they'll be Canton bound. I know it seems early to say that, but Avon 3 scores back. They haven't been able to throw the football all night. Longwell completes it over the middle. Sidestepping a defender at the 10, and Wilson Lamp is out of bounds, 1st and goal.
And that's just the absolutely scary part is all game we've been talking about the run game, the run game, the run game. You got Pfeiffer going, you got Vincent going, you got Keys potentially coming back next week. And then they still have the ability to drop back and throw to 2 Division I guys with a great quarterback. I mean, this team is just top to bottom, one of the deepest Massillon teams I think I've ever seen.
1st and goal from the 5. Well, this time they've got Raekwon Venson in there at tailback. They turn and hand it to him, trying to spread around some of the love. Benson's down to the 1. Pfeiffer with touchdown runs tonight from 13, 9, 7, and 25 yards. Joey Lance had a 2-yard touchdown run for Avon in the 1st quarter. Nathaniel Vakos had a 23-yard field goal as time expired on the first half clock. But Massillon has been almost unstoppable tonight. This is Venson.
We're going to call him short.
Just barely short of the goal line. Clock rolling, 8:09, fourth quarter. Boy, the nose of that football is almost kissing the
Guess who just checked
goal
in?
line. It is Pfeiffer time.
I think everybody in this stadium knows who's getting the ball on this play.
Can the Eagles stop the Tigers? Timeout, Avon. They had all three, so might as well use one here and think about it. Frankly, their season's on the line. Any hopes of a comeback, if they give up a touchdown here, you could pretty much throw those out the window.
Yeah.
So you've got to make sure that you at least call something defensively you like.
And just looking at the spot where the ball is right now, I don't even – I mean, it has to be kissing the goal line. So it's definitely a tall task for Avon to try and get a stop here, but definitely not out of the question.
Meanwhile, LaSalle has a 35-21 lead on Toledo Central Catholic in the very early part of the fourth quarter of that game. Toledo Central Catholic just scored the opening 20 seconds of the fourth quarter, trying to hang around, but could be a Massillon against LaSalle state title. And considering some of the teams LaSalle beat this year, we'll touch on those in a minute, that could be maybe the best state championship matchup in all 7 of the divisions. More on that in a moment. In the meantime, Zion Pfeiffer.
Ooh.
He got leveled at the goal line, but did he cross first? No, he didn't. What a hit.
Wow. What a hit. Oh, Benson's coming back in.
Big time hit from Seth Broadbent.
Wow, he stuck him. That was a great hit. If I'm Pfeiffer there, I don't know why he would leave his feet. He's been just a bull all night long. Just stay on the ground, stay low, stay powerful. But now you got 4th and goal from inside the 1.
It is Raekwon Venson. He cuts left, and he's in. Massillon Tigers, 34-10.
And I think the party is on in Tigertown. That was a convincing drive. Started at the 50-yard line. Used a little bit of everything. Used some runs, used a couple passes. Went right down the field and punched that thing in from inside the 1-yard line to take a convincing lead.
7:06 left in regulation. Alex Bauer on for the extra point. Bauer's left foot buries one through the uprights. Massillon with a 35-10 lead. And you're right, they are probably not sweating it out anymore down in Stark County.
Well, it's going to be a fun week down in Canton, with Massillon getting prepared for this state championship that they're about to go play.
Well, listen to this. I mean, LaSalle's lost 2 games this year, but they've played some ridiculously good football. They beat St. Xavier, who was the number 1 seed in Division I Region 4. One of St. X's 2 losses in the regular season. They beat a really good Lakota West team early in the year. They beat Archbishop Moeller, who's got some real pride and tradition, but Moeller had a bad year.
Tough year this year.
Yeah, they beat I should say they beat Elder in the last game of the regular season. Elder is playing in the state semifinals tonight. If you beat St. X and you beat Elder, I don't care what division you're in, you're a good football team.
That's going to be a must-watch game. Hopefully they obviously it's going to be in a primetime spot.
Here come the Eagles on the kick return back up the middle. And they'll have field position starting around the 20. The LaSalle Lancers in the playoffs have just steamrolled teams. 42-0, 35-7, 45-8 the first 3 rounds. And tonight they've got a 35-21 lead over a pretty talented Toledo Central Catholic team. And that game's still fairly early in the fourth quarter. So not set in stone quite yet, but the ink is drying on the paper. 7 minutes to go in regulation. The Tigers lead by 25 points. And I'm not surprised here to see Chase Myers in the game at quarterback. He throws to Joey Lance right side, who dives across the 25 toward the 27, but they're going to say he was down before the ball came out.
Not surprised to see Chase Myers in the game, and also not surprised to see the ball go to Joey Lance. He's been, if you're going to say something about this Avon team, it's got to start with what Joey Lance has done tonight, what he's been tonight. Definitely, obviously outmanned, across the board, but he's played with a ton of heart and really in a tough situation. When everybody knows you're going to run the ball and you're able to successfully do it, very impressive showing by that young man.
Chase Myers, a sophomore, started the year on the junior varsity. Good run there from Devin Hunter. I think it's enough for the first down. If not, it's really close. Yeah, they'll say 3rd and short. Okay. Anyways, for a guy, and look, he's just not a big kid. 5'8", 133 pounds. It's not exactly your prototypical varsity starting quarterback, so you can't really measure the size of his heart.
Got a lot of growing to do for that guy.
Meanwhile, Lance is back in here in the Wildcat, running left. First down. And he's eventually stood up. Caden Woolard, the first one to get to him. But a first down for the Eagles up to the 35. So you might as well get Chase Myers some opportunities here to grow and play in a meaningful game late in the season. Try to get some opportunity for him. And look, Danny Zay, who's a starting quarterback at the beginning of the year. Danny had a great year. He's a senior, and this is not the way he wanted his career to end. But he's been a huge asset to the Eagles.
Absolutely, and Coach Elder had nothing but incredible things to say about that kid. He got hurt in round 1. He dislocated his elbow, and he's a guy who tried 3 or 4 times to get different doctors to tell him he was cleared to play and able to go. But he stayed engaged. He stayed a part of the team. He's taught these young quarterbacks what it's like to be a senior, what it's like to play in the playoffs, and try to, be that wealth of knowledge. And it's from what I've been told about him. I can't believe, what he's gone through. It's heartbreaking to have your senior year end the way it did for him. But, nothing. He should not hang his head. Just the way the person he is and the leader he became this year.
2nd down and 1. Inside 5 minutes to go in regulation. Boy, what an effort from Joey Lance. At least fighting his way back toward the line of scrimmage. I don't think it's enough to get him to the 45, but he turned a 2-yard loss into a half-yard gain. Anthony, you've been in situations as a starting quarterback and as a young quarterback on veteran teams. What's the hardest thing to do when you know you're a young guy trying to lead a group of veteran guys at a championship level?
It's the hardest thing to do is to get them to respect you. Not that they think you're a bad person or anything, but you're a young kid, you're unproven, you haven't done anything, and these old guys, these seniors are here to win. This is, some of these guys on the field right now are never going to play football again, and a lot of them put their faith and their trust in a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old sophomore. And in that position, that's really tough to look up at an 18-year-old kid and be like, I'm going to lead you. But when they believe in you, the way Coach told us that this team did, that kid, tonight's going to hurt for a while. He only made 1 mistake, but it could prove costly. But he's going to learn a lot from it. And if he does continue to play and continue to be the quarterback here, this is going to be a valuable experience for him for sure.
Lance darts out of bounds on 2nd and 6 for a gain of 7. And another Eagle first down with 3:38 left in regulation. Look, we've sung the praises a lot tonight about the Avon Eagles. They've got a pretty impressive football program. Mike Elder said something that you don't hear from a lot of coaches, and when he said, I absolutely do not want separate championships for public high schools and private high schools. And he says, I have the ability to have a program K through 12 to develop kids where, maybe private schools could perhaps recruit players, but I can build a culture and a program, and it's working for him at Avon. Looks like their season is going to end in the state Final Four for the 3rd consecutive year. What a wonderful thing for them.
Absolutely.
And look, they've had a good run here, but tonight's about the Massillon Tigers and how dominant they've been.
Yeah, and what Coach Elder said about the private to public thing is something you don't often hear from a lot of public schools in that sense. But he was very, open about it. He said, hey, I get the opportunity to coach these kids from, the time they, maybe even use flags to play flag football and all the way up till when they're seniors in high school. And it was very interesting to hear his perspective on it. And he said, it's no excuse, so what that, that Massillon can bring kids in from wherever, they're open enrollment. So what? We got to go out and play them. It's still football at the end of the day. And but I agree. He's put together a great program, a storied program. He's gone to the playoffs for these seniors have played in 4 straight playoffs consecutive years, but Massillon took care of business tonight and did what they came here to do.
Timeout Eagles with 2:29 left in regulation. Well, let's focus on Massillon from here on out. Obviously, you would think they have the horses to do it and the fans coming to their feet. Look, I don't want to speculate as to what LaSalle or Toledo Central Catholic might or might not have. Just going to look at what's in front of me here, but boy, this Massillon team, I've watched a lot of high school football. There are not many teams in Northeast Ohio that have had this much talent, and frankly, this much potential Division I college talent as the Tigers have. Nate Moore's got a special team that Tiger faithful just might talk about for a very long time.
It might be the team, that does it. You talk about some of the teams that have been here in recent history. You got guys like Devin Smith, Kyle Kemp, Justin Zwick, just to name a few that have all played for Massillon in this playoff format and have never held the trophy up at the end of the year. And this team has a chance to do it. And I don't know how you get a group of high school players to stop these guys. I don't understand how it could happen. I think the only way that they get stopped is if they stop themselves, if they turn the ball over, if something crazy happens. But top to bottom, offense, defense, first guy to the 22nd guy that plays, I don't see much weakness at all.
Meanwhile, Toledo Central Catholic has the football in their game with 8 minutes to go, still down by 14 points to LaSalle. Lance darting to the left-hand side. Boy, he just continues to evade tackles. But I thought that was a pretty clear holding call right in the middle of the field there. And the flag is down.
And Lance is slow to get up. His teammates help him up, and this might be it for number 1. But he can go out if he doesn't come back in the game with his head held incredibly high. As that was 4th down. Massillon declined that penalty, and the Tigers are gonna take over. But as Lance lamps off the field, he should hold his head high. He played his heart out tonight.
Meanwhile, we are also covering the Mentor Pickerington Central game on Spectrum News 1. It is 28-21 Pickerington Central with a minute left in the 3rd quarter of that game. So if you're from Northeast Ohio and might be cheering on the Mentor Cardinals, that's the latest update for a Mentor team that is looking for their first state championship. They've had a great run too. 1:50 left to go. The outcome here hasn't really been in jeopardy since, frankly, probably the start of the second half, but certainly with the 2 touchdowns Massillon has scored here in the second half, they have put this one away 35-10 with 1:50 to play. Avon still has 1 timeout remaining, but Massillon comes out in victory formation. We'll see if the Eagles call a timeout or not. They will not. Mike Elder goes over and shakes the hand of one of the officials. He's one of the classier guys in Northeast Ohio. And the Avon Eagles community should be awfully proud that he's their head coach. Massillon with just a minute and a half remaining. They're heading back to Canton. 2nd consecutive year that the Massillon Tigers will play for a state championship. Last year they had a pretty good thing going, but ended up losing 42-28 to Archbishop Hoban. Still looking for that first state title. Of course, 2 years ago, Massillon lost in the state semifinals to Winton Woods in a blowout, 56-21. This senior class, which did qualify for the playoffs as freshmen after losing their first, or I should say 2 of their first 3. They snuck into the playoffs with a couple late wins, but lost the first round. They're trying to go out on top. It'll just take one more kneel down for the Massillon Tigers. There it is, the final kneel down. The clock counts down from 20 seconds, but no further snap needed. For the second year in a row, Massillon will play for a state championship, and maybe, finally, this could be the Tigers' year. Clock officially hits triple zeros. 35-10, Massillon the final.
I joined cosmetology because I've always loved coloring hair and different colors and makeup.
I joined media because I've always had a passion for all things related to media.
I've always had a passion for teaching other people, especially topics that I'm interested in.
I want to pursue a career as an orthopedic surgeon.
And so when I saw that we had this class, I immediately circled it on my schedule and was excited to join.
This class has made me better because it made me very responsible.
I like the relationships that I've developed in this class. The girls that are in here with me, I've really grown close with all of them.
I joined this class because I enjoy helping others and I want to make a difference.
Even like just making something and having people go, wow, that's really interesting. It means the world.
It was just a really good environment to be in. It was real hands-on, and it was just something I really wanted to do.
I joined the construction trades to gain experience in the job I want in the future.
Everything that this class has taught me will account for my career in the future.
Before I came to this class, I was unemployed and Ms. Markley helped me get a job.
I'm going to use what I learned in manufacturing in order to better decide my career.
It gave me more knowledge on cars and gave me plans to go in the auto industry.
Massillon CTE works for me.
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 Works for me.
For me.
For me.
For me. Massillon CTE works for me.